So in the previous lecture I told you that a plant begins its life with a seed, right? And in the case of angiosperms, the seed is covered by a fruit. And I told you why and how, right? I told you structure of a typical seed with an outer seed coat, with a testa and a tegmen, baby plant which is called the embryo, radical, limule, root system, shoot system. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the parts of a typical root. Okay. So what's the next point of discussion? Regions of a typical root. You remember radical develops into a root system and the plumule develops into the shoot system. Okay. And when I say typical, it means that most of the roots will follow this pattern. Okay. Now, morphologically, दिखने में, this part is called as the base of the root, and the one which is growing towards the soil is called as the apex of the root. ऐसा देखने में आप बोलोगे सर ऊपर वाला पार्ट होना चाहिए अपेक्स और नीचे पार्ट होना चाहिए बेस, लेकिन ग्रोइंग पॉइंट जो है उसको हम कहेंगे अपेक्स, क्योंकि अगर रूट की लेंथ बढ़नी है तो वो कहाँ से ग्रो होगा? अपेक्स. ओके, इसके लिए हम लोग वर्ड यूज करेंगे मॉर्फोलॉजिकल बेस एंड मॉर्फोलॉजिकल अपेक्स. मेरा वर्ड समझ में आया? व्हाट द वर्ड आई एम यूजिंग? Morphological base and morphological apex. So I am talking about the regions from the morphological apex towards the morphological base. So at the morphological apex, I see the presence of a root cap followed by the region of cell division, followed by region of elongation, followed by the region of maturation. So a typical root will show the presence of 4 regions: region of the root cap, region of cell division, region of elongation, and the region of maturation. Have you learned the 4 regions, Muchalo? Yes. And what I'm saying, these are the regions from the apex towards the base. The first, that is the region of the root cap. Okay. The root cap is a single layer. It is single layer, multicellular, made up of many cells. So all these cells that I have shown over here, I will highlight them in red. So it is single layer, layer एक ही है, but cells बहुत सारे. So I am saying it is single layer, multicellular structure which protects the delicate region of cell division, नाजुक region of cell division. The root cap also secretes mucilage, चिकट पदार्थ, so that when the root is growing in the soil, it will not do friction with the soil particles and can easily penetrate in the soil. जब रूट ग्रो हो रहा है और उसके टिप पे अगर म्यूसिलेज है तो सॉइल के साथ होने वाला फ्रिक्शन जो होगा वो कम होगा और रूट जो है इजीली सॉइल को क्या कर पाएगा? पेनिट्रेट कर पाएगा. आई बात समझ में सबको? एक और एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट आप ऐसा ध्यान सकते हो Okay, I've told you in the last lecture that the roots are positively geotropic या फिर they are positively gravitropic. मतलब एक रूट सिस्टम को पता है कि ग्रेविटी का फोर्स कहाँ पे जा रहा है. The root cap helps in gravi perception. Just like I'll say that my eyes help in photo perception. Same way, the root cap helps in gravi perception. It helps the root to determine gravity and helps the root to grow towards gravity. And that is under influence of certain hormones. Like just like our body has got hormones, even plant body has got hormones. One of the hormones in plant body is called auxin. Have you heard of auxin? Yes. Okay, that hormone helps the root cap to know where gravity is. I hope you got my point. Now the exception over here is that most of the plants have a single root cap, except few, like a plant called Pandanus. It shows the presence of multiple root caps. मतलब नॉर्मली एक रूट के ऊपर कितना कैप है? एक ही. कुछ प्लांट जैसे पेंडानस है उसके पास क्या है? मल्टीपल रूट कैप्स. एक्वेटिक प्लांट्स लाइक एकोर्निया एंड पिस्टिया. एकोर्निया जिसको वाटर हाइसिंथ या टेरर ऑफ बंगाल भी बोलते हैं. It does not show the presence of root caps. It shows the presence of root pockets, which helps the root to get some buoyancy, मतलब floating ability in water. Okay, so that is what you'll remember about the description of the root cap. That the root cap is present at the apex. Is this point clear, everyone? Yes. Then I said that the root cap is single layered and it is multicellular. Yes or no? Yes. Yes. It also secretes. What does it secrete? It secretes It secretes mucilage. Okay, and as a result of which it will prevent the friction with the soil. So basically, it has the main role of protection. One extra point I told you was gravi perception. Gravi perception. मतलब to determine gravity so that it can go downwards. Clear, everybody? And the root cap is protecting the next region. That is the region of cell division, or it is also known as meristematic region. So it can be known by different names. Like it can be called as the region of cell division, or it is also called as the meristematic region. Okay. This region is made up of young, thin-walled, undifferentiated cells. The cells are young, मतलब newly formed. They are thin-walled, मतलब they show the presence of only the primary cell wall, not the secondary cell wall, cell structure. They show the presence of only the primary cell wall, not the secondary cell wall. Okay? And they are undifferentiated cells. मतलब all the cells are same. There is no division of labor. मतलब अभी भी वो जो cells है वो लोग ने अलग अलग स्पेशलाइज्ड टिश्यूज का फॉर्मेशन नहीं किया हुआ है. सारे के सारे सेल सेम. अभी आप जितने भी सब बैठे हो सब 11-12 नीट के स्टूडेंट्स हो. मे बी 15 साल के बाद कोई कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट बनेगा, कोई न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट बनेगा, कोई नेफ्रोलॉजिस्ट बनेगा. तब मैं बोलूंगा आप लोग क्या हो गए? डिफरेंशिएटेड हो गए. अभी आप सारे के सारे क्या है? सेम. सिमिलरली ये जो सेल्स है अभी फिलहाल सबके सब सेल्स कैसे है? सेम है. आपस में काम का बंटवारा नहीं है. तो हम लोग क्या वर्ड यूज करेंगे? They are undifferentiated cells. They don't show division of labor and they keep on undergoing what? Cell division. Okay? So the cells in the region of cell division are thin, walled, undifferentiated, and their job is they keep on undergoing what? Okay. Just below that, the next region is the region of elongation. Okay. Now, what is this region of elongation? First of all, these cells are the cells in the region of cell division. They're small, thin-walled cells keeping on undergoing cell division. Now, what happens is you must be knowing that the cell wall is made up of cellulose. Give me yes or no.
Yes.
And these cellulose, how are they arranged? They are arranged like a net. मच्छर की जाल कैसे net. So इसलिए मैंने क्या word use किया है? Microfibrils. At this stage, these microfibrils are quite flexible. What my point? So what happens is, you remember that hormone auxin? Under the influence of auxin, and due to entry of water into the cells, as the water will enter into the cells, the water will exert a pressure on the cell wall. So now the cell walls are experiencing a very good turgor pressure. It is called. What is the pressure called? Turgor pressure. And auxins will loosen up the cellulose microfibrils. दो चीजें हो गई. एक, ऑक्सीन ने सेलुलोज माइक्रोफाइब्रिल को थोड़ा क्या कर दिया? लूज कर दिया. पानी का अंदर क्या हो गया? एंट्री हो गया. पानी कौन सा प्रेशर एक्सर्ट कर रहा है? टर्जर प्रेशर, जिसकी वजह से अभी ये जो सेल वॉल है उतनी नहीं कि स्ट्रेच हो जाएगी मुझे. सो व्हेन द सेल वॉल विल बिकम स्ट्रेच, व्हाट विल हैपन टू द लेंथ ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल सेल? Increase. So overall the length of the root will also increase. That is why it is called as the region of elongation. What my point? Where the cell enlargement will take place. You understood the word enlargement? Where the cell will increase in its size. That is called a cell enlargement. And I told you the logic how it takes place. What is the scientific reason? ऑक्सीन नाम का हार्मोन है, वो सेलुलोज माइक्रोफाइब्रिल्स को और टाइट करेगा कि लूज करेगा बच्चों? वाटर का जैसे एंटर आ गया, वाटर अंदर घुस गया, वाटर ने क्या एक्सर्ट किया? टर्जर प्रेशर, जिसकी वजह से सेल वॉल क्या हो गई? एक्सपांड हो गई. ओवरऑल सेल क्या हो गया? एनलार्ज हो गया. सो कैन आई से एट दिस रीजन आई विल सी अ इंक्रीज इन द लेंथ ऑफ द रूट, and it also helps in mineral absorption. A small amount of mineral absorption. Okay? Did you get the third region, everybody? And what is that region called? Region of elongation. Where the cell increase in their size. Okay? That is why it is called elongation or enlargement. Okay? What is the fourth region? Region of maturation. Okay. The region of maturation is also the region of differentiation or maturation. Okay. Now, what do you mean by differentiation? Division of labor will take place. So now the cells will come together to form tissues, and these tissues will start performing specific functions. So at this particular region, I will see the presence of specialized cells which are called epidermis. What are cells called?
Epidermis.
It's like the outermost skin of the root. And it gives out thread-like elongations, which is called as a root hair. Okay? And the function of the root hair is to bring about absorption of water and the minerals, followed by a layer of cells which is called as the cortex, followed by a layer of cells which is called as the endodermis, and few other layers which I called it as pericycle along with the xylem. Got my point? So if I cut the root at the region of maturation, I'm going to see the presence of unicellular outgrowths, which are called as root hairs. You understood what I said? What is the word I used? I said that they are unicellular outgrowths, which are called as root hairs. I have the class followed everybody? Okay? So Chirag, if the question is asked, कि out of the four regions that are seen, which will be the region best suited to study the tissues under the microscope? Region of differentiation. क्वेश्चन क्या था कि ये चारों क्वेश्चन कैसा आ सकता है कि ये चारों रीजन में से सबसे बेस्ट रीजन कौन सा है अगर आपको अलग अलग टिश्यूज पढ़ने हैं तो okay. अगर नेक्स्ट ऐसा क्वेश्चन आता है कि which of the following region will be responsible for absorption of water? Root hairs are present in the region of the root cap protects the region of or the meristematic region. Which region adds new cell to the growing root? Huh? Is it region of cell division or the region of elongation? Cell division. ना क्या क्वेश्चन है? Which region adds the new cells? तो कौन सा आएगा? अगर क्वेश्चन ऐसा है कि which region increases the length of the root, तो आप क्या बोलोगे? Region of elongation. समझा कैसे क्वेश्चन आएंगे? Basic एकदम easy question ऐसा रहेगा. A typical root is divided into dash region 3, 4, 5, 6. 4. Arrange the regions from base to the apex in a correct order. तो क्या दोगे? Yes or no?
Yes.
Clear all of you?
Yes.
Any examples where the root cap? Yes, people. Any example where the root cap is not single, there is multiple root caps? Don't try to be people will ask. वो root pocket के लिए था. Yes, Vijay? Pandanus था, pandanus. Pandanus का example क्यों दिया था मैंने? It was an exception that the pandanus shows the presence of multiple root caps, and then I give you the example of Ecornia and Clistia as an example for absence of root caps but the presence of root pockets. ठीक? Did you all follow my point, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes.
Pakka? Now, you remember the radical?
Yes.
All of you remember the radical?
Yes.
The radical develops into a primary root. What does the radical develop into? Primary root. And this primary root is long-lived. It doesn't die immediately. It is long-lived. And it results in the formation of secondary roots. And the secondary roots give out which roots, which root? Tertiary roots. Okay? So now I have a primary root which has given rise to secondary roots. And the secondary roots have formed the third order of the roots, that is tertiary roots. Okay? So such a root system which develops directly from the radical Such a root system which develops directly from the radical shows the presence of primary, secondary, and tertiary is called as a tap root system. What do you call it?
Taproot system.
Understood what is a tap root system? So, how will we define a taproot system? It's a root system which develops directly from the radical. It shows the presence of primary root. Okay. Clear everyone? Okay. And if you look over here, can I say that the younger roots are at the apex and the older roots are towards the base? Is this apex or is it the base? Apex. So younger roots are towards the and older roots are towards the base. Such an arrangement of roots is called as acropetal succession. क्या होता है इसको?
Acropetal succession.
समझा था आप सबको? Okay. So what are the characteristic features of a tap root? Number one, it arises from the radical directly. Yes or no?
Yes.
Second is, it shows the presence of primary root, secondary root, and tertiary. And the third is, it shows the presence of an acropetal succession. And what do you mean by acropetal succession? Younger roots are towards the apex and older roots are towards the base. That is called acropetal succession. Clear everybody? Okay. The taproot system. So you know angiosperms have got two groups, dicots and monocots. I have discussed this with you before also. Right? So taproot system is found mainly in dicots and gymnosperms. Where do you find them mainly? Dicots and gymnosperms. चारों पॉइंट सबको समझ में है? एक्रोपेटल का मतलब समझ में है? एक्रोपेटल मतलब older towards the base. Comfortable everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Now, have you seen a bryophyllum leaf, Kochilo? Which in Marathi is called pan footy. Bryophyllum leaf. Okay? It's a succulent, fleshy leaf. Green, fleshy. And its juice is taken to cure kidney stones. Okay? नहीं देखा होगा आपने चलेगा नहीं देखा होगा तो खिलाने नहीं वाला ना इसको जूस पिलाता so you remember that look at the margin of the leaf this is the margin of the leaf and do you see there are some roots which are developing from the margin of the leaf so in this case the roots have developed from radical or parts other than the radical. So can I see it has developed from the leaf? Give me yes or no?
Yes.
Such a root is called adventitious root system. What do you call it, guys?
Adventitious root system.
Adventitious root system. So adventitious root system is a root system that develops from radical or parts other than the radical. Have you seen the banyan tree, guys?
Yes.
What is the banyan tree called in Marathi? वडाचं झाड. कोण राहतं वडाच्या झाडावरती? इतना अच्छा पेड़ है और नाम करके रख दिया भूत रहा था ये है ना so do you see those hanging roots
Yes.
can I say they are arising from the radical So they are not arising from the radical, ना? बोलो कि पहले इस radical से it has arisen from parts. So they will come under which root system? Did my class follow this one? So what's an adventitious root system? An adventitious root system is a root system that develops from parts other than the radical. Yes or no? There is no primary root, secondary root, or a tertiary root. There is no acropetal succession and is found mainly in umbilical monocots. Okay? It is mainly found in monocots and it can be also found in pteridophyta. Okay? And other than absorption of water, an adventitious roots performs many specialized functions. Did you get my point, everybody? Pakka? Okay. In the case of grasses, okay, as well as in the case of few plants like say wheat, etc. The primary root is short-lived. How is the primary root? Matlab the radical develops into a primary root, but the primary root is short-lived. Matlab it will die very early. As a result of which, from the base of the cell, many thread-like roots arise, which look like fibers arising from the base of the stem. Such a root system is a specialized root system which is called as fibrous root system. Okay? So fibrous root system develops from the base of the stem when the primary root is short-lived, it dies early. So to give support, absorption of water from the base of the stem arise fibers. Okay, thread-like root system which is called as a fibrous root system. Yeah, दिमाग में सबके आया ना? So we have seen an adventitious root system, fibrous root system, and a taproot system. Got my point? A fibrous root system is seen only in monocots. A fibrous root system is seen only in monocots. So, what are the two things that we just now covered? We spoke about the regions of the root. From the apex to the base, they are cell division का region, elongation का region, maturation का region. रूट है कौन से रीजन का कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर है? मैचुरेशन. तो उसको पूरा डिस्क्राइब किया है मैंने. And here we have described about the different types of root systems: taproot system, fibrous root system, and the adventitious root system. Which root system develops from parts other than the radical? Which root shows acropetal succession? What is acropetal succession? Here everybody. You copied it down fast, Uchala? Any questions? Yeah. 5 minutes. Again, not a lot of time. What are two types of root system? Taproot system and the root system which develops only from the radical is called taproot system. Other than absorption of water and minerals, both a taproot as well as a adventitious root can get modified to perform special functions. First is what? Food storage. Okay. Understand in this manner now. It's conceptual thing. Now we have, say, a carrot plant. This is an imaginary one. And this is its primary root. You know primary root? Yes. The conditions are favorable. By favorable condition means that there is light, water, sufficient things. So the rate of photosynthesis will be very high. The plant will produce glucose and will store it in the form of complex carbohydrates. Now what happens is these complex carbohydrates get stored in the primary root. As a result of which, can I say the primary root has become swollen because of storage of food? And as the season changes and the conditions become what? Unfavorable. The whole plant will die. पूरा plant क्या हो जाएगा बच्चों लोग? मर जाएगा. But what is surviving inside बच्चों लोग? Carrot. With the return of the favorable conditions, it will result in the formation of a new plant. So can I say it has helped the plant to overcome unfavorable conditions? That is called perenniation. And with the return of the favorable conditions, it has resulted in the formation of a new plant that is called as vegetative propagation. So why does a carrot or a sweet potato or a potato produce all these structures? So that it will help that particular plant to overcome the unfavorable conditions. So एक बटाटे का झाड़ बटाटा क्यों बनाता है, या एक गाजर का झाड़ गाजर क्यों बनाता है? आपको हलवा बनाने के लिए नहीं, वो अपने आप को अनफेवरेबल कंडीशंस को सरवाइव करने के लिए बनाता है, ताकि फिर से जब कंडीशंस क्या हो जाएगी फेवरेबल, वो उससे क्या करेगा? वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन. आपको कांसेप्ट समझा आप सबको? यस और नो? सो टेल मी, why do the plant parts store the food, or why do the roots store the food? The reason is what, Bachelo? Two words I have mentioned over it. What are they? Perenniation and vegetative propagation. What is perenniation? To survival in unfavorable conditions, and with the return of the favorable condition to produce a new plant. Now, depending upon the shape that is taken by the primary root, if the primary root is swollen at the base and it gradually tapers, then the shape is called as conical. So such a root is called as a conical root. Okay? And those green leaves are the stem, and those leaves are called as radical leaves. And you will find thin secondary and tertiary roots on the primary root. Okay? So Dacus carota, that is your common carrot, is an example of conical root because the primary root is swollen at the base and it gradually tapers. What is the second type? Fusiform root, where the shape is fusiform. We have used this term Bachelo in spindle, I think so, in our chapter. Which chapter Bachelo? Muscular tissues. Look at the shape. Can I say it is swollen in the middle, but it tapering towards both the ends? So that shape is called which shape, Bachelo? Fusiform shape. An example of that would be radish. That is Raphanus sativa. Pronounce karo. Raphanus sativa. Raphanus sativa. Dacus carota. Dacus carota is carrot. Raphanus sativa is radish. The third type, who is it, Bachelo? Napiform roots. Here see. They are swollen at the base, but they suddenly taper. Look at the shape. It is swollen at the base, but it suddenly tapers. That shape is called which shape? Napiform shape. Example is what? Beta vulgaris. Okay? And when the shape is irregular, or there is no definite shape, the shape is going to be what, Bachelo? As an irregular, upward forward, irregular shape. Then that is called as tuberous root. Okay, not sweet potato. I am talking about tap roots. And here it is Mirabilis jalapa. क्या नाम उसका? ये जेनेटिक्स में भी आता है बेटे, ध्यान रखना इसका नाम Mirabilis jalapa, which is called 4 o'clock plant. 4 o'clock plant. 4 o'clock plant. Because it produces flowers at 4 o'clock. Got my point? Yeah. Now, so what are the different for food storage? Different examples of food storage: conical, fusiform, napiform, tuberous. And this classification is based on the dash shape of the primary root. This classification, hey babu, what is क्या मतलब क्या? No reactions like this, अभी बोलता हूँ. When I said this classification is based upon shape of the roots, मतलब conical, fusiform, napiform, tuberous. मैंने इसको 4 अलग-अलग टाइप्स में डिवाइड किया और मेरा क्राइटेरिया क्या था क्लासिफिकेशन का? शेप ऑफ द रूट. If the shape of the root primary root is conical, tapering towards the end, fusiform, swollen at the base, tapering, napiform, and irregular in shape will be tuberous. Okay. So the first type of taproot system is for food storage. And what is the job? It helps in food storage, so it can do what? Perennation and vegetative propagation to overcome unfavorable conditions, and with the return of the favorable conditions, it will form a new plant. अब वो प्राइमरी रूट कौन सा शेप लेता है फूड स्टोरेज की वजह से, तो आपको कितने टाइप्स मिलेंगे? 4 शेप्स के हिसाब से. Okay, gradually tapers, conical, swollen in the middle, tapering towards the end, fusiform, suddenly tapers, napiform, irregular in shape is tuberous. Did you get it, everybody?
Yes.
The second type over there, what have we written there? For gaseous exchange. Okay, now there we have written a type of roots which are called as pneumatophores. But listen to this explanation. There are some plants which are called halophytes. What is the word used? Halophytes. Phytes means plant. Halophytes मतलब those plants who grow in marshy, saline water, कीचड़, which is marshy and it is saline. Marshy मतलब पूरा कीचड़ वाली एरिया. Saline मतलब जिसके अंदर salt बहुत ज़्यादा है. And because of high salinity, they have low oxygen. I hope you got my point. These plants, their common name is, in English they are called as mangroves, or it is called sundri. That is why you have got Sundarbans. These are forests of mangroves found in Bengal. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So those plants normally they show the presence of a taproot system. This is a plant with which root system? But where are they growing? How is the soil above them and water? It is marshy and it is saline. So the roots will not be able to breathe. Gaseous exchange नहीं हो पाएगा. So some of the roots they become positively phototropic, like conical spines. How do they become बच्चों? Positively phototropic. क्या word use किया मैंने? Positively phototropic. Like what बच्चों? Conical spines. Got it? And such roots are called as pneumatophores. What do you call them? Pneumatophores. Understood? So pneumatophores are positively phototropic. मतलब they grow towards sunlight and they show the presence of openings on them. These openings are called lenticels. क्या बोलो उसको?
Lenticels.
And these lenticels helps in gaseous exchange. कैसे समझ में आया? So कुछ plants कीचड़ में ग्रो होते हैं जिसमें नमक वाला पानी होता है. तो तो उनके नॉर्मल रूट्स ऑक्सीजन और दूसरे गैसेस को एक्सचेंज नहीं कर पा रहे, तो उनकी जो नॉर्मल टैप रूट है वहां से कुछ रूट्स ऊपर की तरफ ग्रो होते हैं। नॉर्मली रूट सॉइल की तरफ ग्रो होता है, लाइट से अवे। ये लोग दे आर ग्रोइंग टुवर्ड्स द लाइट, इसलिए हम लोग ने बोला पॉजिटिवली फोटोट्रॉपिक, लाइक स्पाइक्स, spines or spikes. You can use the spikes word better. Okay? And they show the presence of small openings on them. And these openings are called what? Lenticels. And these lenticels help in gaseous exchange. Example of these plants is what? Mangroves. Okay? And उसके अंदर अलग अलग फिर botanical names है. One of them I've written is Rhizopora. There are many. Rhizopora, Avicennia, Soderetia, Heredera. बहुत सारे नाम, आप एक याद रखो। क्या नाम उसका? Whose English common name is mangroves. And in school you must have done for roots for nitrogen fixation. सबको पता है root nodules? जैसे garden pea वगैरह का plant है, you will see that those plants on their roots will show the presence of ऐसे nodules, फोड़ी जैसा, फोड़ा what we call है ना? These nodules, what do they contain? Bacteria like rhizobium, which help in the process of nitrogen fixation. So it's a symbiotic relationship. ये nodules है, उसके अंदर एक बैक्टीरिया रहता है, वो बैक्टीरिया प्लांट को क्या फिक्स करके देता है? एटमॉस्फेरिक नाइट्रोजन, and the plant will give food and shelter in return. So it's mutualism, both of them get equally benefited. Got my point? So those type of roots we have mentioned them as what over here? For nitrogen fixation, root nodules in plants like pea, beans, etc. Did you get it, everyone? Yes or no? So tap root got modified over here for how many purposes? 3 purposes. The first is food storage, which helps in dash and dash. Use the word perination and बराबर है? Now depending upon dash, they are classified into 4 types. Primary root. They can be classified as conical, apiform, fusiform and tuberous. Second type of modification is seen in plants growing in marshy areas. What are they called? Halophytes. And they show the presence of positively phototropic roots like conical spikes with openings called as lenticels that helps in gaseous exchange. Here, those roots are called pneumatophores. Example is mangroves. Okay, and within mangroves, we have written an example, Rhizopora. In adventitious roots, the first thing for food storage. Now depending upon the shape now, see हाँ, जैसे पहला वाला plant है, उसकी stem है, and now look here, adventitious roots get swollen. Okay, do they have a definite shape or they don't have a definite shape? Don't have a definite shape. So what is the word I should use? Tuber. But can I say here the tubers are present singly? एक tubers है. An example of that is Ipomia batatas. Who is Ipomia batatas? Sweet potato. So sweet potato that we eat is a modification of adventitious root for food storage, which helps the plant in perennation and vegetative propagation. Unfavorable condition में पूरा ऊपर का plant will die. What will remain under the soil is the tuber. Return of the favorable condition में ये tuber के पास buds होंगे, growing points होंगे, और उन्हीं growing point में से क्या आएगा? नया plant आएगा. Did the class follow what I said? Yes or no, everyone? Then fasciculated tubers में here these are growing in bundles. Bundle is called fasciculi. इसलिए क्या word use किया है? Fasciculated tubers. Example is what? Asparagus. Monoliform. In monoliform, the roots show the presence of beads. Monoliform मतलब beaded. ऐसे beads दिखाई देते हैं. Okay? Beaded का मतलब होता है monoliform. Okay? Example is spinach. That is Spinacia oleracea. spinach. The fourth one, who is it? Nodulose root. In nodulose roots, the root is swollen at the tip. The root is swollen at the tip. So that is why we call it as what, Uchilo? Nodulose. Okay? So what are the different types depending upon their shapes? Irregular shape. They are called as root tubers. They are produced in bunch, so they are called as what? Fasciculated. Then beaded, like beads. You know the beads? That is monoliform. The tip is swollen. That will be called nodulose. So you have got Icomia batatas, that is sweet potato. Then you have got asparagus, Spinacia oleracea, and Curcuma amara. Under which root? Nodulose. You got it, everyone? Which is the second type over here? For mechanical support. Have you seen a banyan tree, everybody? Okay. And in the case of a banyan tree, can I say it has a very big canopy? What is a canopy? Branches. So in order to support the branches give out roots like pillars, khamba. Okay. How do the root look like? Pillars. Okay. Khamba. Okay. And I knew that was going to come. Okay. So such roots are called which roots? Prop roots. Okay. What is the example of prop roots? Ficus bengalensis. That is banyan tree. Ficus bengalensis. Which tree? Banyan tree. Then, which type you mentioned? Stilt roots. Okay. Now you all are familiar with sugarcane ka plant. Yes or no? Okay. Then, niche it will show the presence of a fibrous root system. But in order to give extra support to the stem, you will find that there are certain roots which arise from the lower nodes. From the lower node, the blue in color. So if this is a sugarcane stem, नीचे के नोड्स में से चारों तरफ नॉर्थ साउथ ईस्ट वेस्ट ऐसे पूरे रूट्स होते हैं ताकि उसको स्टेम को नीचे से पकड़ के रखे ऐसे तो उस रूट्स को क्या बोलते हैं स्टिल्ट रूट्स बट हाउ आर दे अरेंज्ड इन whorls मतलब circles that is why I call them as what whorls example of whorls is what maize sugarcane jowar understood this point everybody so stilt roots they give extra support okay in the case of maize sugarcane and jowar they arise from all the sides of the lower nodes in the case of pandanus अभी दूसरा plant है pandanus उसका stem ऐसा slanting रहता है so from the sides of the stem it will result in the formation of stilt roots because already the plant shows the presence of an oblique stem how is the stem oblique stem so you want to give the stem extra support from the sides. So these roots of pandanus, what do you call them, Uchilo? Stilt roots in whorls or in sides? Sides. Does anybody have money plant at home?
Yes.
Do you have money plant at home? Money plant is called pothos. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Pothos. How are the roots of the money plant? बोलो. देखा भी है तुम लोग ने Can I say that wiry like the telephone wire highly coiled and whenever they get a support they coil around it such roots are called which roots climbing roots understood what is climbing roots because the stem is already weak money plant ka stem is weak and it wants to climb on supports so the roots will be thin and wiry and sensitive. Sensitive matlab as soon as they touch a support, they will coil over it. So that will be climbing roots of pothos and Piper nigrum, Kali Mirch. Piper nigrum. Understood? Yes or no? Give me yes or no, Chalo.
Yes.
Okay. So this classification is for what function? Food storage. It will help in two functions. वेरिएशन है वही एडवेंटिशियस रूट में वैसे ही फंक्शन आ गया यहाँ पे हाँ या ना? ये स्पेशल फंक्शन है फॉर गैसियस एक्सचेंज which is called pneumatophore. सारे कंसेप्ट समझ में आ गया? ओके, ध्यान से इसको बंद करो. Let's quickly recap now. Okay.